catching up on your social media a little bit, sitting here, just kind of,
Uh-oh.
kind of refreshing myself. Did you go to a Ghost concert?
Me? No, I went to a ghost movie with my daughter. It's like a live performance thing that they've done in the cinema. And they
Oh, I
released it out to
see.
fans and stuff. So I am a bit of a Ghost fan, to be fair. I do like a bit of rock and roll every now and again. And my
Oh,
daughter's a
yeah,
huge fan.
I like Ghost as
So
well. Yeah,
I took it along for a
who
bit of crack.
doesn't? Probably everybody does. Actually,
Yeah,
you
but zero bagpiping in it, like, but
that so far, right? Maybe
yeah,
someday.
that's
Yeah,
it.
you can judge me as a. Feel free to call me a bad parent. I don't know if you've had the same experience. When my kids are little, I don't worry too much about what they're hearing in terms of music, because it's like, they're little,
Yeah.
whatever, they don't get it. But it was when my second son he was walking home he was probably in second grade, maybe third grade. I was walking him home from school, and he's singing Mary on a Cross. And I was like,
Oh, that's
buddy,
not the
maybe
best one.
don't sing that at school, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's certain songs. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's it. I was very happy that my kids were listening to Corn and stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's getting cool
Well, there you
again.
do have some bagpipes, so there you go.
They do, absolutely.
At least some.
So I love Corn for that reason. So I was like, oh, they're cool again. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Go and listen to them. And then I forgot to have that song Adidas or Adidas.
Yeah.
And the chorus of that one's not great for
I,
kids to
I
be singing.
I
So
appreciate you pronouncing it both ways for the entire international audience. Everybody will know
there
what
you
you're
go.
talking about that way.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, dude, Korn was one of the bands. I think you and I are of a similar age. Is one of the bands that like I carved the word corn into my school desk in elementary school and stuff like
Yeah,
that. As one
yeah.
of the
They were
cool
huge at
bands.
the time.
Yeah,
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 that's it. I seem to enjoy bands that like carve their own path, though. Like they
sure,
have their own like musical voice. Like a lot of
yeah,
the stuff that you hear in the charts is all very auto-tuned and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
bands that break through and have a unique voice is what I like.
yeah.
Like I'm sure everyone's going to cringe whenever I say this, but Sleep Token are one of
Oh,
those
sure.
bands who absolutely kind of blew my doors off last year. Andy Fusco actually introduced me to them. He was wearing like
Oh, that makes a
a
lot of
Sleep
sense. He
Token
would
shirt.
like Sleep Token, wouldn't he?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's wearing a shirt, and I was go, "Oh, who's that?" So I googled him, and then I went down the rabbit hole, man. It was serious. It
look,
was
that's a
between
real
Boghall.
thing. But let's
Sorry, go ahead.
it's worth recognizing or acknowledging, maybe this is something. I don't know if this relates to like good bass drum head design or something like that. Like there are bands
Yeah.
out there that I have only given a chance to for my own listening because I saw an album cover as something that looked cool, and I was like, oh dang,
Yeah.
I got
There
to
you
listen
go.
to that now.
It happens all too easy. Yeah. So I don't know. Most of 2025 was between Boghall and Bathgate for me, and
Yeah.
Sleep Token, which was a very random combination.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if your listening platform gives you like a end of year wrapped up kind of thing where it shows you kind of what you were listening to that year. But I'd imagine that was
Does.
a fun mix.
It was. Yeah. It was a mixture of pipe bands, Sleep Token, Ghost, and a bunch of other rock bands and stuff
That's
mixed in the
great.
middle. It was just weird. Yeah.
Actually, funny.
Eclectic.
Speaking of Ghost and of like the kind of summary, we all share one music subscription here in my house, and
Mhm.
a while ago, my wife was putting one of the kids to sleep to music. So like we had music playing on the TV, right? And the
Mhm.
music app, was generating images based on our listening, and it had like this option to click on like your like stuff you will like, and it was split between two artists. So we had this image of Enya on one side and Ghost on the other, and it was like auto generating this comment. I was like, oh, look at that! It's like what a great summary of our household. That's great.
Wow, that's a contrast right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They say opposites attract. Maybe that's the case.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Well,
Oh man.
how's the editing been treating you today?
Uh, yeah, today, literally. Yeah,
So
exactly.
far.
Man, see, it's the start of the season right now, and I'm
Mhm.
just getting back into the thrust of it all, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whenever you get out of the way of doing something, and then suddenly the videos start pouring in, and then you're like, it's like overload. And then
Yeah.
you remember that you used to do this all the
Right.
time, and it was
Yeah.
never a thing. So just sat down today, about 2.5 hours, got it all knocked out. All the videos are out there, and yeah. So this will now be the new norm now for the next until the end of September, start of October. So just start that production wheel again. Yeah.
While you're in the middle of it, do you ever get that feeling, Rab, that like if you slow down, take a break, then you won't be able to get going again. You just have to keep the
Yeah.
momentum going.
Man, I am a huge procrastinator. I'm
I hear
awful
you.
at that. I would put a job off forever and then wonder why it never got done. So
The 11th hour can be
yeah,
very productive.
it
Sometimes that's just
can,
the
it
way to do it.
can. I think was it Andrew Douglas told me, he says done is better than perfect, and I
Yep,
think he's
yep.
right.
I picked that up from him as well. Yeah, I tell myself that all the time. Actually,
Yeah,
speaking
he's
of,
so right.
Andrew and Dojo, Camille Late, who does some work over
Mm,
there with Andrew, I was just talking with her on the show a little while ago, and she brought up that she'd been
yeah.
talking to some very successful business guy over there in Australia who she played pipes with for a while, and that he
Hmm.
was telling her about his experience going to see like a life coach or therapist or something like that, and he was just talking about how
Mm,
for a long time he'd carried with him like this guilt that he would put things off for a long time and then hurry up and get them done at the last minute, and that
right.
the helpful advice from the therapist for him was like, yeah, just accept that that's how you do things. You get them done, so you don't need to feel bad about how you do it.
Is good advice right now. Yeah. I should maybe take a leaf out of that book. I spent forever pouring over one performance and trying to get the introduction and outro correct.
Oh,
And
sure.
then the others, I don't know. I just clipped them and sent them out, and they were just as good. So I don't know
Yeah.
why I agonized over something like that,
Yeah.
And it's little things like that that perhaps I would notice. But folks watching, well, do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You
You
might
know,
spend hours and hours on this little thing. You're like, finally, I pulled it off, and then people watching don't even
yeah,
notice it, man. Yeah.
that's it. That's it. But so yeah, I'm going to stop sweating the small stuff,
Yeah.
and just get it done.
Well,
I'm
and
going to take it.
you've probably had, with all the media that you put out, I've got to imagine you've had the experience of like having some things that, whether it's an editing job or maybe an interview that you set up just right or prepared for a lot and stuff like that, that you think to
Mm,
yourself, like, I've put so much into this. This is really going to be great. I'm knocking it out of the park. This is going to be awesome. And like, it's fine, but it doesn't like, like nobody's like cheering for it.
yeah,
And then you'll have
it's not
something that
electric. Yeah.
you'd throw something together and toss it off the hip and you don't think it's anything special. And then you get accolades for it, right? It's like, you don't know how stuff's going to
100%.
land.
That has happened to me so many times.
Yeah.
There's been episodes that I've worked on that have been months in
Yeah.
development, and they kind of fall flat. Not all the way disasters.
Sure,
Obviously,
yeah.
they're great, but they're just not as great as we expected them to be. And then,
Yeah.
as you say, even gathering up like the team on Zoom, and we would just talk and like
Mm.
the big load of rubbish. And those are some of the best episodes we've ever
Yeah.
done, and we
Yeah.
done no prep at all. So it's sod's law, isn't it? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Well, Rab, I want to know about your piping. And like
Oh
last time
no.
we talked, that was I think if I remember right, that was barely even getting started. But like
Yeah.
I got to hear you do your Amazing Grace solo at was that Piping Live last year that you did
That was
that?
Piping Live, yeah.
Look, I'm
The
not
big
trying to
Rab
make
Show
you.
pipe band.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. No, the Rab Show pipe band, the RSPBA. I like the idea.
Oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
yeah. The Rab Show pipe band associates or something like that. Yeah.
There you go, that's it, yeah.
No, listen,
I
I'm
don't know
not
if that
trying to make you feel good or anything by saying. I mean, go ahead and feel good, but I thought you sounded excellent. I was like, man, this
Oh,
Rab guy's a
thanks,
good
man.
piper. That sounded really good.
I don't know about that, man. I'm still a drummer that wants to be a piper,
Well,
Um,
maybe you feel that way, but I think you sound good. What is it you're playing with? Oh, it's one of those with kind of a funny sounding name to me at least.
yes, Tullylaggin.
Tullylaggin, that's
in
right.
in grade 4B, yeah.
Is it
Mhm.
only me who thinks that sounds silly? Should I not? Is that rude of me to think that
That it probably
Tullylaggin
does
sounds
sound
kinda funny?
strange,
It just sounds
I
a
don't
little
know.
bit like bubbly wobbly or something like that. It's just a little silly.
Too many syllables, that kind of thing, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but Tullylaggin, they have a grade 2 band and a 4B band,
Yeah.
and I'm fortunate enough to be playing with the 4B band again
Yeah.
this season. So last season was my first sort of run out ever
Mhm.
as a competitive piper with a full season,
Yeah.
and it was an experience, standing
Yeah.
on the line with a bag under my arm instead of a drum and a harness. Very different, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a whole different learning curve for me. It's been really good.
Well, I'm curious about, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, Rab, and let me take care of
Sure.
the sort of like prefix here. Like, obviously, you would not be speaking of your experience with the 4B band as if that's like less good than experiences you've had with like higher grade competitive bands in the past
No.
playing drums, obviously, right? But
Oh, for sure.
But
Yeah.
having
Mhm.
played with higher grade bands on the drums, and
Yeah.
like, I'm not saying that it should feel like going backwards, to play with a lower grade competitive band, but I am curious, like, do you feel like that serves you well because you've been in a situation where there's higher amounts of scrutiny, so you're not as nervous now, or do you feel just as nervous as you imagine you would have, no matter what? How does it feel to you?
That's an interesting question. I think if I was drumming in grade 4B, I would feel altogether very relaxed, because I've been drumming since I was no age, and
Yeah.
it feels natural to me. And I was actually chatting to this about with my tutor there a couple of weeks ago. How bagpiping is such a huge challenge for me. It's so different, and there's a lot of different moving parts that I'm not used to, and it's the challenge that I'm loving, you
Mhm.
know. But yeah, playing in those top flight grades and all the rest, there is that bit of pressure there for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely, I could never dream of throwing a set of pipes under my arm in a higher grade right now. Getting through a 2/4 march is that's about my max right now.
Yeah.
But you never know what the future might bring.
Sure, yeah.
But this past weekend, I done something I've never done before. I played in a quartet competition.
Oh, did you? What kind of
Wait,
tunes did you play?
oh man! Well, we just played our competition set for this season.
Yeah,
The
sure.
set of 2/4 marches, and you talk about terrified, man.
Well, you must feel
I
so naked in that smaller group, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was asked, did I want to do the solos? I said, absolutely not. I don't have the
Mm.
courage, and I'm certainly not a good player to compete at that level. So I, shied away from it. And I said, do you want to do the quartets? I said, no, absolutely not. No, don't want to do that either. But the pipe major said, you're doing it.
Too
I said,
bad.
there you go. We're entered the band. You're playing. So okay, fair enough.
Mm.
And I've never known fear like it. And because if I let myself down, I let myself down. You know what I mean? If I make a
Sure.
flub and that's on me, but then I'm disappointing the 3 other folks that are with me. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm letting them down.
Yeah.
So that's the pressure there,
Mm.
And I don't know, this is going to sound like I'm name dropping, but last night I compared a concert in Cookstown for Clockfin Pipe Band, and Stuart Little and Stephen McWhirter were playing at it. And
Go
so
ahead,
I was
drop
just,
those names. Those are good names to
I
drop.
know, yeah, Clang, there you go. I was actually just sitting talking away to Stuart Little, and I was pinching myself going, wow, I'm sitting talking to Stuart. But I was asking him about his experience with quartets, and did he ever get nervous playing in them? And he said, he's played at big solo events and the World Championships, all that. And he said, but it's the quartets that really shake him. He said
Oh,
he
yeah.
finds that nerve-wracking. So
That make you feel better that at least he feels
I
nervous
took
too.
great comfort in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, come on. If this piping legend can get
Yeah.
shaky on
Yeah.
a quartet, well then, yeah, it affects everyone. So, yeah, to answer your question then, does playing in the top flight differ from playing lower down?
Yeah.
For me, no, the challenge is always the same. The scrutiny is always there. You're always striving for perfection, regardless of your grade. And yeah, granted, there's probably more cameras and more eyes on you the higher up you go. But I don't know. I believe the pressure is always there.
Mm.
That's kind of not let your bandmates down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that does make sense. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm remembering that you were pretty darn young when you were leading the drum corps with what's that? Was it? I want to say
The
Colin
Quinn
Quinn.
Memorial.
That's not right. Yeah, Quinn Memorial. That's
Yeah,
right. I kept
the
thinking
Quinn Memorial Pipe
Colin
Band,
Quinn
yeah.
instead. Yeah, that's right. Quinn Memorial. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that
were
was
you young enough at that point that you were like brazen and like you know what I mean? Like a young man sometimes doesn't think hard about the pressure and just kind of goes for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was that your experience then, and you've got more
I
nervous
think
over
that's
time?
yeah, I think that's the crack. Because as I'm looking back at it now, I'm thinking, how the heck did I do half of that
Yeah,
stuff?
I hear
You
you,
know,
man. Yeah. I mean, I never
nuts.
did anything to that level, but I do look back on my younger years now and think, what was I thinking? You know?
Yeah, and I know at the time I didn't take time to smell the roses. I didn't take an opportunity to kind of look up and look at where I am, kind of thing. It was just another day in the office, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But now that I've kind of really took that step back and I've been a pundit for a while and outside of it, and now I'm back in it again as a piper, I can get a real appreciation for where I was, what I was doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
that's
it's
it.
interesting. I'm not qualified to speak to what might be going on, but I wonder if there is like some kind of like circle of life, aging, maturing, sort of full circle psychological
Yeah.
experience that you kind of in some ways relive your past from a different angle, maybe on like, 20 or 25 year cycles. You kind of have a different perspective to look back on things from.
Yeah. I can see that, and I think that's where I am now at the moment. Now that I've took on this new challenge,
Yeah.
I'm now thinking to myself, what if I had started piping when I was like 9 years old
Oh,
instead of
sure.
lifting sticks?
Yeah.
Where would I be now? Would I still be piping, or would I be putting the drum on to see how
You'd probably be
I could
so
do?
bored
You know
with
what I mean?
piping. Yeah, you'd be starting snare
Yeah,
now or something.
that's it. So,
Yeah.
and I also talked to Stuart about that because he recently competed in the All Ireland solos as a snare drummer.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
watch his solo, but I heard that he was doing that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he talked about being so nervous as a
Mhm.
solo drummer, and he doesn't know how drummers do it. And I said,
No,
Stuart, I
there
don't know
you
how
go.
pipers do it, mate.
So it's the same coming from either end. Then
Yeah, yeah, it
do,
was really interesting conversation.
do you
Yeah,
feel like
just getting
having?
that perspective.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah,
Um.
just getting his reflection on the whole thing,
Oh yeah,
jumping across the fence to the other, the dark side of
the
piping and
dark
drumming.
side.
Yeah.
Do you feel like having survived a quartet now, maybe soloing doesn't sound so scary? Maybe you'll do it next year?
Do you know what? We didn't have the best of runs. We didn't. Well, we played great outside. It's one of those things. And then as soon as we stepped in front of the judges, we all kind of
Ain't that
went a
always
bit
the
wobbly,
way? Yeah.
So I think we left our best tunes in the tuning room. And I honestly think the pipe major said it at the end. He says, I think that's as nervous as you'll be this season because
It's nice to have it
we're
out of the
so well
way.
used to. Yeah, exactly. Like we're so well used to having everyone around us at practice,
Mhm.
the full drum corps there, all the pipers. But whenever it's stripped back like that,
Mm.
oof, as you say, exposed.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think this season's going to be a doddle now,
That's
nerves
great.
wise.
That's great because you do have a pretty busy season too, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm not a high level competitor, so if I played at a higher level or was interested in traveling more over here where I live, I could get to more games. But basically, for me, if I'm gonna do a competitive season, I've usually got two competitions. That's
Right.
about what I've got that I
Yeah.
can get to. But you're not anywhere near that low of a number. How many competitions are you gonna hit this year?
Um, I haven't counted them, man. That's a good
Gonna have
question.
to take off your shoes to count them up.
Yeah, no, I am genuinely. Yeah, honestly, we're recording this now, start of May.
Mhm.
I have my first outdoor competition happening this weekend. I preface this with outdoor because I've already done a few indoor things now
Yeah.
already. So yeah, running through May until through mid-September
Mm.
every weekend now.
Every
Um,
weekend, man.
every weekend with multiple events, not just the ones that I'm attending, but also ones that the team are attending elsewhere. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm having to
Yeah.
try and coordinate all of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, juggling, capturing everything, and I guess I'm imagining that even if you're playing in something and somebody else is capturing, you're still gonna be the guy that the editing work funnels over to, yeah? Sorry about that. Eh,
Technology can
actually,
be
you
a
know what?
massive pain in the neck.
This does not have to be a big deal if it causes any kind of problems, but I think all of a sudden we're getting audio from something other than your microphone. It sounds different.
Mm-hmm. I think I might have
Yeah,
just fixed it. There we go.
you did it. Yes, sir. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I have multiple cameras and multiple mics,
I
unfortunately.
bet you do. I
Yeah.
bet you do. You need to because you're a big deal, Rab.
Can be a massive pain in the neck as well.
Speaking of multiple mics and multiple cameras, how's the other, aside obviously the big Rab show is kind of like, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that's the main thing for a lot of us. Maybe that's just for me. How's the Fuse show and all the other stuff going?
The Fuse FM show actually is getting bigger, believe
Yeah,
it or not.
that's
Yeah.
great.
I can't explain it though, because the format over there has stayed the same. We've never really changed it.
Yeah.
It's just me coming on there, playing tunes I like to hear, taking requests, and then see you next week. And I don't know what is happening, but the Fuse show is getting bigger, which is
Well,
random.
listen, I wouldn't. I think probably it's your own charm. It's all thanks to you, I'm sure.
No,
Though some might wonder also, like, oh, I wonder if just like is trad getting even cooler, or more and more people getting into it? Is that is it?
it's an odd one. I can't explain it. I think, yeah, there's certainly a lot more kids getting involved,
Yeah.
from my day, where it was getting, there was so many other distractions. And there still
Mhm.
is nowadays,
Mhm.
I guess. Get your iPads, your PlayStations, Xbox, all that stuff. Um, but yeah, there does seem to be a new, younger audience becoming
Mhm.
attracted to the music. And it is seen as the cool thing, you know,
Well, that's great.
which is excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's anything to do with the newfound popularity on Fuse, but I'm here for
Mhm.
it. I'll take it.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's see. What were we saying when something went sideways there? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the
I
editing. I was
can't
just curious if all the editing comes
remember.
back to you. Are you the one and only editor, or are other guys on your team, other folks on your team also doing some editing work for you?
Yeah, but that's the arrangement we have where each weekend, all the stuff funnels back through to me. Where
Mm.
I'm at right now, this is legitimately Rab Show headquarters. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I have like my main show laptop that I do all my show stuff, and then I have my video computer over there, which is a bit more high power and can churn out videos a bit quicker. So yeah, all stuff comes back through me, and then it all gets churned out then onto the socials and stuff. So it's a bit of an industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant about saying about getting that wheel turning again. Sometimes can
Yeah.
be difficult to get going. You know.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's I don't know if this is only interesting to me who also does editing stuff, but I am
Mm.
curious. Like, what's your go-to like software and stuff like that? What do you like using for your
Um,
editing work?
that's a good question. Actually, let me have a
Actually, and
look at
in a
my
similar
system
way
here.
too. Well, no pressure to reveal your secrets either, Rad. But I think a lot of us are interested
Um,
in recording, if nothing else, ourselves. And I am curious,
mm.
like, what kind of kit have you and the rest of the team found useful for capturing the sound of pipe bands
Oh,
and
pipe bands.
individuals and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
soloists? I guess audio as well as video. But like, have you found certain pieces of equipment that you just think like this is the best? This is made for us.
100%. Absolutely. For me doing podcasting and all that, I'll go through that first of
Mhm.
all. The camera I'm
Yeah.
on right now is a
Hmm.
Insta-Link 2C. Very nice little camera, little webcam. I'm talking to you on a pod mic, which is nice, and that's going into a Rodecaster Duo, which is nice because it also has effect buttons. You love the rap god. There we go.
There's one
They're
of our
always
favorites.
they're always fun, yeah. And then for out in the field, as we say, whenever you're out on the ground, the best camera and all of that stuff that you could take with you, and it's just your phone,
Ah,
just
yeah.
take your regular old smartphone. We have an ongoing argument and a bit of a challenge within the team. There's those that have iPhone and those that are Android,
Oh,
and
sure.
it's the battle who can get the best quality. So
Yeah.
the Samsung phones can shoot in 4K, and we can get quite a lot of video at 4K, and
Mhm.
we don't max out storage and all that kind of stuff. And the audio is quite decent too. The
Mhm.
iPhone though kicks it up a level and can shoot in 8K, but those files are ridiculously huge, and we can only
Sure.
maybe get one or two videos at
Yeah.
8K. So that's a challenge. But the visual's one thing, but I've always been telling the team, don't worry about 8K, 4K. We'll solve that argument another day, but audio is king.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to hear the band. They don't
That's the
give a
main
monkeys
thing,
if
of
they can.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they can't see it, doesn't matter. You could film a blade of grass or something and have Field Marshal playing, and you still want to hear the band.
Sure, yeah.
So the mics that we have built into our phones are okay, but
Mhm.
on the day when it's wind and rain and it's howling, it can be really challenging. So
Mhm.
what we found is syncing the videos up using one of these. It's a Zoom H4n Pro.
Oh,
Is one
sure,
of those.
yeah.
The little Zoom recorders are brilliant. I have the larger one, the H4n Pro, which is like the one that has like two XLRs in the bottom of it and stuff. But I use this for like my BBC interviews and things like that, so it's pretty high
Oh, yeah.
quality. It's maybe too good to be taken out to a pipe band competition to get rained on. Um, I have actually had one of these completely soaked and destroyed at Stone
No.
Mountain, famously.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh, no, I remember that. Yeah, that's
that
right.
was a
I remember when
disaster.
you went there. Yeah, I think you told the did you I can't remember now if I remember you talking about it on your show or if you went on the Chanter Ant guy's show and talked about it, but I do remember you telling your
Kind
stories
of
from Stone
both at
Mountain.
the
Yeah.
time. Yeah. They talked to me just as I had landed back, and I was telling
Mhm.
them, folks, I don't know if I'll have a pod this week because my main
Uh-huh.
recorder's dead.
Yeah.
Um, so no, thankfully we were able to get another one, and the show kept going. But there was one episode I think I recorded it just on my phone. I just
Oh,
used the
yeah.
voice recorder on my phone, and that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you have to put one, like the dead cat on it, as they call it,
Oh, right. Those
like
wind
the
those windsock
fluffy
things. Yeah.
fluffy hamster looking thing.
Yeah.
So that cuts out all the wind. And then there's been times where I haven't used my proper recorder. I've actually just got that fluffy windsocky thing and then just put it over the end of my phone
Oh,
where the mic
clever.
is. And that
Yeah.
cut out all the stuff. So we learn a lot on our feet. Stuart or a guy in Scotland, he has learned that putting his Glengarry over the end of the phone, where the microphones are, that cuts out the wind. So you
So if you
improvise
wanted
and you
you want to
adapt,
travel light, yeah, you could
Yeah,
just take your phone and hang a hat on it, and you're good.
there you go. So we use what we have to hand, and
Yeah.
there's only so much you can stuff in your sparring,
Yeah.
So a mobile phone, perhaps a battery pack, and yeah, any ways to cut out the wind. That's it. So that's about it, really. We have updated a bunch of our cameras and stuff like that. Stuart's actually invested in a bunch of action cams and things. I think he's looking at the new, was it the Pocket 4? I think it
Mm.
is. DJI Pocket 4. He's got a Pocket 3, and we used that for the Rab Show pipe band bit that we'd done at Piping Live. He actually wore the camera on his harness,
Mhm.
and then someone in the audience controlled it on their phone, so the camera pans up and down, left and right,
Well, yeah.
looks around, really cool. So yeah, we're fiddling with technology.
That's
I think.
great.
Yeah.
And I think I probably speak for more than one person in the broader community that we love to see someone else fiddle for us, so that then we can decide what we're actually going to invest in
Yeah.
ourselves.
That's it too. Do you know, there's a band, who was it? Wasatch District, I think, had one of those 360 cameras,
Yeah.
and they were like, had it on this huge pole, and were able to get like fake drone shots and stuff just by like
Yeah.
moving this camera around above their head.
So
Brilliant. I love that
Yeah.
idea. So hey, I might invest in one of those.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
Yeah, those are excellent.
But I would have to be that guy at the Worlds with the ridiculously huge selfie stick. I've
Right,
seen
yeah.
like 2 or 3 of them last year, like social media guys. I spoke about this on the show last year, about how, like proper social media bigwigs, they have like millions of followers, get invited now to the
Yeah.
Worlds to try and help showcase. And they're like, hey, I'm at the piping event, guys, woohoo. And they haven't a clue what's going on. And like,
Right,
they're
yeah.
running around with like a camera crew. And
Yeah,
they're
a whole
like,
crew with them, yeah.
it was ridiculous. Nobody really wanted to talk to them because they were
Yeah.
so loud and brash, and
Yeah.
I hadn't a clue. And they're like, "Oh, what's this? Do you blow in here? That's funny, isn't it?" Shut up.
Yeah.
Come on. So, we know what they were doing. They were trying to get publicity for the event, get more ticket
Right.
sales, get more eyes on it. It makes sense. But at the same time, come on. Yeah,
You got to find the right balance, yeah.
you do. You do
When
need
it's the same tired old jokes and stuff like that, it's not exactly
Yeah.
what you're looking for.
Oh, that's it. Thankfully, I didn't see any, kilt jokes or anything like that. There was
Right.
nothing too cringe, but there was one moment where this YouTuber fella, I can't even remember his name, he got a hold of this guy's chanter, and he looked up the end of it, and he said, "Oh, do you blow in here?" And he blew into the bottom of the chanter, and I said, "You're an idiot,"
Yeah.
How
You know,
that piper didn't just like laugh at him, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, just being polite.
I think it just yeah. Like
I maybe ought to be careful saying this. Maybe I should think about it before I say, and say it carefully. But I don't know if you heard about it. I think a lot of us over here in the States were excited when Piper Alley got on to the Wait Wait Don't Tell Me show. It's a pretty popular public radio show here,
heard about that. Yeah,
and it was good. And I think probably a lot of us felt in a similar way. Like, oh, this is exciting. Looking forward to this and stuff like that. And I like the show in general. I'm already a fan of the show. But I don't know. Personally, I felt a little bit left down because it did seem like basically it ended up being, a half hour of them making bagpipe jokes.
Yeah. Oh, bagpipes
like, well,
are weird, aren't they? Yeah,
Right.
that
Yeah.
kinda
It's
thing.
like, okay. Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
those of us who do it are uniquely tired of that. I don't know because we've heard it so much already, but I don't know.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I know at the very beginning, whenever I started doing this Rab Show thing, I had to try and fight that kind of media cringe in a way,
Yeah.
where people were saying, "Oh, is this going to be another show going, hey, Bagpipes is this weird thing with this weird collective of people that enjoy the music and aren't they strange?"
Yeah.
So, no, I had to cut through the cringe to say, no, we're not in that business of saying how weird it is and
Yeah.
how niche it is. We're about to say how cool it is and how
Yeah.
amazing this
For the
music is.
piping folk, as you say, right?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I don't know. We're here for the fans of the music. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if you're outside of that, great. We're more than come on in, have a listen
Yeah.
to all this brilliant stuff. But if it's not for you, it's not for you. You can't please
Yeah.
everyone, you know?
Speaking of which, I'm curious, Rabbi, because I remember you saying, was it? I'm trying to think who. I think it might have been that Dream Valley medley last year. I think it
Oh,
was maybe
yeah.
that medley that you mentioned. Oh yeah, that's right. It was when you interviewed Andrew Douglas. You told Andrew Douglas
Mm.
regarding that medley. You said, "Hey, I've sent that medley to a few friends who aren't even fans of piping, and they've
Yep.
been like, "Oh, I get it now. This is pretty cool."
Hmm.
Have you by chance heard from any like random people on the internet or anything who are like, "Hey, I tuned into your show and it's pretty cool," who aren't pipers themselves? You know, like, does it attract people from outside the group?
Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying about the Fuse FM show. There's
Ah,
a
yeah.
lot of non-piping people that tune in by accident. You know, there's a
Mm,
lot of taxi drivers, like Uber
interesting.
drivers and stuff like that, that
Keeps
would
them
just
awake.
randomly tune in and go, "Oh, that's good. What's that?" And
Yeah.
then they would wait until the track finishes, and then I would talk about the band, and they would say, "Oh, wasn't that a great run at the Worlds or whatever year?" And they go, "What's the Worlds?" And and who? Oh, right, he's going to play another track from the World
Yeah.
Championships. Well, this is a more up to date one, and then
Mm,
people get hooked. Then you know.
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people have been finding out about the music that way,
Mhm.
just completely by accident. But yeah, you're right. I have been sending people that Inverary medley. It
Mhm.
seems to
Yeah.
have such a hook. I think it's the
Yeah.
wrong word, but maybe it isn't the wrong word. But it does. It hooks people in. They
Yeah.
get it. You know.
I think that makes sense. There's something about it that's, like, especially approachable, maybe just to folks
Mm,
who are general music listeners. And I've heard people say before too that, like, I don't know, there's probably an argument to be made from every angle, right? But I've heard people say
mm.
before, like, well, maybe we need more general interest in what we're doing in order to keep it alive, help it to grow, et cetera. And maybe one way to achieve that is to, focus on doing some things that are more generally palatable or generally
Yeah.
exciting, even to folks outside of the organization. And I've heard people point to Bagad music as maybe an example of
Yeah.
how, like, even the format of the show, right? If you go to like a Bagad competition, is an open
Mm,
circle facing the audience, and not that that
yeah.
has to be an element. I'm like, you can still be an audience outside of a closed circle, but I guess I can see how, like, yeah, maybe that's a simple indicator that, like, who is this for? I guess is
There
the
you go.
question.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's what we have an element of that in the piping world, with the MSR competition. That's for the
mm,
purists, that
yeah.
who wants to listen to 4 hours of MSRs? We
I've
do.
said that before, and some people have told me before, like, "Jim, if you don't like to listen to a bunch of MSRs, that's on you." I'm like, "Okay, fair enough. I'm sorry." I said
But
once something like, "I get bored with MSRs," and someone's like, "Well, you should listen to better MSRs." And I go, "Oh, all right."
oh boy. Yeah, oh, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I do believe the MSR is kind of the wheelhouse of competition. That's
Mm,
the bread and butter. But then
yeah.
it's the fireworks then come from the medleys.
Mm,
And see, when you're talking about outreach and you mentioned the Bagad music, I have been
yeah.
really getting into it over the last number of years, but I think it's really took a turn around since last year, the year before.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm riding that
recently,
wave. The last couple
yeah.
albums I bought on Bandcamp have been Bagad music.
Oh, really? Who are you
I'm
listening
happy.
to?
I couldn't pronounce their names, but I'll
Probably
pull
not.
them
No,
up
I'm the
right
same.
now.
That's the problem. I'm always pronouncing stuff wrong. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
I
Yeah.
I can tell you the album that I just bought last week is called, I think it's Skewed, Skeud, and the
Mm.
name of the band is spelled Startijenn. Startijen, something like
Started?
that.
I
They're
don't know.
obviously a
Yeah.
big band and, like, very popular and very cool. So it's on, like,
Mm.
I'm not trying to be like, "Oh, I discovered this quirky little thing," you know,
Yeah.
thank me for discovering it for you. No, they're very popular already. I
I'm
just
gonna
don't know
check
how
that
to
out.
pronounce their
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
curious now. But when you're talking about outreach, I think one of the biggest things that happened was it the New York Tartan Day? And was
Oh,
it
yeah.
Cap Caval? I think it
Oh,
was.
dude. Yeah, that was all over the place and so
Man,
cool.
that was
Yeah, that was
everywhere.
awesome. Yeah.
But they sounded amazing.
They did
Like
sound, and look,
big
again,
tone.
speaking of, like, band covers and T-shirts being, like, part of the thing, right? Their
Mm,
aesthetic was killer, dude. They
it
they looked
was.
metal marching down that road in their whatever you call those pantaloons and stuff. They looked really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It had such an impact, and I think even the commentators, I watched it on the live stream, and they were like, "I've never heard a pipe band sound like that before."
Yeah.
You know?
Well, fair
Because
enough. It's not what if you're used to hearing, what we think of it, like the more like
yeah,
Highland regimental style pipe bands. It's different, that's for sure.
that's it. They're like, "Oh, here comes the Emerald Society," or "Here come the
Yeah, right.
firefighters," or, and then here comes this Bagad band that just
Yeah.
blew the socks off everyone. It was nuts. So that introduced a pile of people to that music, and that
Yeah.
scene, as part of that outreach, doing events like this is really opening things up now. Yeah. Like, we recently had, a Bagad band playing at Rab Show Live last year, and
That's
they
right. what was that? Bagged Breach?
A bag of brie, yeah.
That's
They
right. Yeah.
were, not a lot of them spoke any English. So
Mhm.
I was like chatting away and wishing them luck for the worlds, and no one had a clue what I was saying.
Just smiling and
Um,
nodding.
just smiling and nodding, being very
Yeah.
polite. But I said, take it away. And man,
Yeah.
did they take it away.
Yeah.
Flip. They absolutely lifted the roof of the place. And yeah, it was such a great booking, you know. I love
I
the
like
music.
I like all your episodes, Rab. Don't get me wrong, but I
Mm.
particularly enjoyed that episode. Not just because of that group. You had several really good guests come in and play, and I really
Yeah.
liked hearing you play with the Rab Show band. Honestly, like it really was good. It was very enjoyable.
You know, that all started as a joke. We were looking, right, okay, who are we going to book? We're doing Piping
Yeah.
Live this year. That's amazing. But we're doing it twice. And, you know, I'm like, oh my God. One show's bad enough. How are we going to do two?
Yeah.
So we kind of went into a state of panic then. We started writing lists of who we want to see. And
Mhm.
I think someone threw in the list, Simon Fraser. I was like, okay.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
We're going to
you
ask
know?
them, they'll say no, but fine. So we had a huge wish list, and someone at the end of the meeting just said, you know, we've all drummers and we're pipers here. We can make our own band. I know,
Yeah.
take the pressure off. And I'm like, yeah, Rab Show pipe band. Yeah, that'll do. And then that idea just blossomed.
Then you did it. Yeah.
But my piping tutors like that. And Andrew Shilliday,
Yeah.
shout out to Andrew. He's such a legend. An idea that you would think was flippant and just a pass away comment would turn out to be something so cool because he works at it, you know?
Mhm.
So he got us all together and he said, well, what tunes can we all play? And, you know, who can come up with a drum score? And, you know, can we get a bass drum? And I will borrow it from Tullylagan. We can borrow one. So it all became real. It was,
Yeah.
strange.
I think I remember you guys did Rowan Tree as part of the set.
I think we did. I can't
think I
remember the
remember
tunes
just-
we played now. It was a bit of a
I
blur.
think that's the one. It was either that or another tune that had solid harmonies, and I just was listening to it and just thinking like,
Oh.
that sounds great. These guys
I
sound
think
like
it
a legit
was-
band. It was great.
I think it was Farewell to Nig. Farewell to Nig and then
Oh,
Dream
yeah.
Valley was one of
That-
the sets.
Farewell to Neg is that one that's it's like it starts on B, right? It's kind of minor. Yes, that's right. You did do
Starts
that
on
one,
the
yeah.
B. Yeah. There was that one, and then we had Scott and the Brave, Roundtree, and then we had the Amazing Grace. Yeah. So we
Right,
kept it
yeah.
pretty simple. A lot of identifiable stuff. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't want to try and spend our competing season learning a new hornpipe jig or something. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, of course.
And
Plenty of
stretch
other stuff
yourselves.
you're already doing, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So we were up there to play a few tunes, have a bit of fun, and that's what it turned out to be.
Well,
So-
and that's part of it too, Rab. Like speaking as a fan of the show, like we all get familiar with your voice, obviously, and also the other
Yeah.
folks' voices, and at least their names. And so then, like, it's kind of like a fun party thing, you know, to get to hear you guys play music. I think it was a really good idea.
It was
lot of
cool.
fun.
It brought us all
Yeah.
together, you know. Normally at Piping Live Week, we're all pretty spread out. We're trying to capture everything that happens at Piping Live.
Yeah.
And whenever we had our live event, we normally pull all the team together. We do the live event, and then everyone scatters again.
Sure.
But with having the band together, we were kind of forced. Right, we need to blow for half an hour, get our tone
Right.
set and everything, and the drummers need to sort out their scores and all that stuff. So yeah, we had an actual band practice, which was great, you know.
Yeah.
And then we had the idea, oh, we'll enter just a drum major as well. So we got Louise in.
That's
'cause
right.
Louise was just
yeah.
standing there.
Yeah.
I-
Hey, will you be our drum major? Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I hadn't planned on it. She said, but okay.
Oh yeah, I remember she dismissed the band properly at the end. I remember that, and you were like,
That's
"Oh right,
right,
yeah, we got to
yeah.
do it right."
That was the whole thing. Yep.
That's great.
It was so much fun. Yeah. Whether
Rab-
we'll do it again, I don't know.
No,
Well,
I mean, listen, if you not that you're not, you should do what I say. But if you were taking votes, I'd vote for it. I'd say, yeah, do it again, make it an annual thing. I think it was a lot of fun. You know, even
Oh,
just a
nice
short
one,
little
man.
set
Thank
is a
you.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What was I'm trying to remember, Rab, if I asked you about this last time we talked, because I know you were getting started on piping, but it's been a minute, and I am curious about your family's reaction. Of course, your wife and kids, but also, you know, knowing that
Yeah.
your dad haven't played pipes and stuff like that. You know, what's
Yeah.
how's the family felt about it? Have you heard any like, we knew you'd come around eventually, or anything like that from them?
Yeah, the dynamic with my dad is an interesting one.
Yeah.
So it is, because I've been a competitive snare drummer for the longest time, and he always hated that. He always
Yeah.
wanted me to be a piper. I think I spoke about
Yeah.
this the last time.
Yeah.
But now I'm piping in the house all the
Mhm.
time, and my dad just lives around the corner from me. He's not far,
Mhm.
and you know, he always says that, you know, for me to learn my own way and all of that kind of stuff. But then after every session, I got a phone call. It's like as
Oh,
soon
do
as I
you?
put the pipes back in the case again over there, ring, ring, phone goes. You need to put a bit of tape on that F. You're flat. Is it on your overblowing and your high A's? Just watch that. I said, right, okay.
Oh man,
Every session, without fail.
that's got to
Yeah.
feel like pressure, Reb. I had for a while my good friend of mine who also played pipes was was renting our basement from us, and so I'd be playing in
Mm.
the backyard, and I'd be looking away from the house just playing, and then I'd feel a hand reach up to my drone and adjust my drone tuning for me, and turn around like, oh yeah, well sorry about that. And
Yeah.
he's since moved away, but it was just last week. I don't know if you have. I don't know how well you know the folks in Wasatch District, but Johnny Miner is one of the guys who's played over there for a while in the
Oh,
past.
yeah.
I don't know if he's playing with them right this. I think he is. Well, maybe.
Not sure. I
Anyway,
don't, yeah.
this local piper Johnny Miner, he texts me. He's like, "Hey man, is this your address?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my address." And he's like, "Well, we're just looking at this house across the street from you. We've got an empty house across the street." And
Mhm.
it'd be a lot of fun to have another piper neighbor. But at the
There
same
you
time, I'm
go.
also like, oh, he's gonna know every time I'm out in the backyard playing with my drones out of tune and just being like, I don't care if they're in tune today. I'm just gonna play. You know what I mean? So to have
Yeah.
somebody who's always listening and giving you notes, that's,
I know. It's yeah, at one way of looking at it, it's really distracting because you're like really focusing and you're making mistakes. You know you're going to get a phone call.
yeah,
But that if things go wrong, especially with my maintenance, I'm still learning a lot about that.
yeah,
How to rehemp things and all things like that. Like recently changed bag and stuff. Obviously, new season coming in, new
yeah.
bag, all that. So I had to learn all of that really,
Hmm.
and I hadn't a clue what I was doing. So I was able just to kind of up the road. How do I fix this thing
Oh, that's handy.
that
Yeah,
isn't fitting anymore? How can I get it to so able to show
yeah,
me right? This is how you put hemp on. This is how you make sure it doesn't slip off. Like my
right,
last
yeah.
set that I just did, nightmare.
You know what I only just discovered? I guess it's been a couple of years now, but like the whole time up until then, so some
Mm.
I don't know, 15 or so years of playing pipes, I had never tried a chanter with threads on the inside of the reed seat,
Oh,
like screw
right.
threads. And
Yeah.
now the chanter I'm using is threaded, and so it makes it so I can twist the reed and it goes in a
Oh, I
little bit, or
see.
twist it to come back up. Man, that's been handy. That has been so
Mm.
handy. But
Instead
speaking
of
of
the whole
kit,
push-pull thing. Yeah.
yeah, instead of pushing and
Mhm.
pulling, it's twisting in and out. But I am
That's
curious, Reb,
interesting.
what's your whole kit right now? You just switch bags? Are you on? Do you do
I
what kind of stuff do you play?
I am on a fully synthetic bag. I think it's
Yeah,
Canmore, I think.
yeah.
Set of easy drones. I know I'm standing here wearing a G1 t-shirt right now.
Hey, we
But
know you're loyal to G1. We're not gonna,
G1 all
yeah.
the way,
No one
baby.
needs to question that.
But the band play Chesney. They play Chesney
Yeah,
chanters, Chesney reeds. So yeah, there we go.
yeah.
And I think the pipes I'm playing are McCallum's.
Hmm.
Full set of McCallum's. Yeah. So there you
You
go.
playing Blackwood or synthetic or on the
I think they're
drones? I mean,
Blackwoods. Yeah,
yeah,
with imitation mounts on them. Yeah.
sure, yeah,
hmm
yeah.
What else? I can't remember what you call it. The water trap system that I've got on my drones and stuff.
Yeah,
We call it. They
some
have
some
like
kind of system
incandescent
though.
orange beads in them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have to
So
dry them
you're
out
not
all the
dealing with
time.
kitty litter. You
There
got
you go.
the beads. Yeah,
Yeah. So you mentioned about my wife and family. That's one of
yeah,
the
yeah. What are they thinking?
things. That's one
Do
of
they
the
wish
things.
you'd go back to the pad instead?
Yeah, because I'm constantly bringing in beads and putting them in the oven, and she's going,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah,
great, he's making dinner." Is it? No, I'm not. I'm cooking beads. So yeah, it's been an interesting dynamic, that one, because I'm already taking a lot of time away from my family and stuff doing radio things, for
yeah.
BBC, for Rab Show, for podcasts, all that stuff. And now I'm taking additional time away for all the competing stuff
Yeah,
because to be a functioning band member, you have to attend practice. You
sure,
know,
yeah.
I've been in leadership roles where people don't turn up, and it's really difficult then
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
a lead tipper, pipe major, then to justify being able to play that person if they're
Yeah.
making mistakes. You know,
Mhm.
you're making mistakes because you weren't at practice.
Right.
Cut. So I don't want to be that person. I want to be a productive member. I want to attend and
Yeah.
put the work in like everyone else. So that's time away from home. So
Mhm.
sometimes can be a bit of a hard sell with the wife and kids.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, I'm away. Oh, what is it tonight? Is it radio? No. Is it podcast? No. Are you doing television stuff? No. Band practice."
Mhm. Yeah.
So it can be a bit of a hard sell. Last season was tough going because I had a serious amount of work on. And then this season's looking to be just the same. But from the same point of view, they completely understand, they get
Yeah.
it. and they know what the mission is, and that's to try and help keep this music going, you know?
Yeah.
So there has been times where I have been tired and I have not wanted to go out and record anything. And I'm like, right, I'm going to leave it till tomorrow night. I'm not going to do anything tonight. I'm going to watch Netflix. My wife says, nah, go on out there, get your script done, get it recorded, because then you'll have less to do tomorrow. I can't. So she's kind of my motivator, producer, if you will.
Sure, yeah.
Butt kicker, get out the door.
Someone's got to do it. That's good.
That's it, yeah. And especially coming up to the likes of Christmas and the holidays and stuff, that's a really tough time, because obviously we're preparing for the holidays, you know, with the family and everything. But then I have to pre-record episodes of the show, so to make sure that Rab Show keeps moving over the course of the holidays. So I'm out here in my garage just after Halloween, wishing people a happy New Year.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but it's necessary, you know, so then I can take that 2-3 week break and spend it with the wife and kids, you know?
Right.
It's
So
weird.
that's rough though, because you basically just end up working 2 or 3 extra weeks in the lead up to it. So you work just as much.
Yeah, it's all about scheduling, I find. You know, if I schedule in the time to do it, then it gets done. And then if I don't procrastinate and my wife does give me that kick up the rear, then it gets done. You know?
Sure. Well, Rab, I don't mean to like put you in a position where you have to tell the world how to be a good dad or anything like that, you know. But like you bring it up, you know, that these are things that are important and they matter, and also it's time away from home, and that's difficult. And I sure don't know how to be a good dad, and I've wondered about that before. Like, to what degree is there? I suspect there's a balance, you know, that like to some degree, being willing to continue to be an actual fully developed human of your own sets a healthy precedent for your kids, you know, kind of gives them a picture of what adulthood can look like, that kind of thing. And maybe you come back refreshed and you're a better dad as a result. But then it's hard to be away and not think to yourself, like, why am I putting so much time and effort into this stuff while my kid's back home?
Yeah.
You know,
it's tough, man. It is, genuinely. I know for myself personally, I kind of like to lead by example. You know, I like to show them, well, if you dedicate yourself to something, you say you're going to do it, then you blinking well do it. You know, you don't leave your audience sitting waiting on an episode. Wednesday comes, there's the episode. It's done.
Yeah.
You know, same with the radio show and anything I do for BBC and that as well. Deadlines are deadlines. You get your work done on time. And my kids have kind of, you know, looked towards that as an example, I feel, you know. Like my daughter recently has just started university there back in September and has been doing really well, thankfully.
That's great. That's awesome.
Which is magic, you know?
Yeah.
And I think she's mentioned that about the work ethic, that she thinks she has that kind of workaholic thing from me.
Well, I've got to think college, that's going to be a lot of deadlines all of a sudden. So being able to schedule her day and all that, that's important.
That's it. So I've been able to kind of, you know, through their school days and stuff and prepping for exams and all that, we kind of tell them, right, you work ahead of time. You know, you work out a schedule, right? This is D-Day. This is when your exam is. This is what you can do coming up to that. So same way I would prep for a podcast, you know? This is the day I get the script written. I get the email sent out to the guests, prep the questions, work all of that out ahead of time. And then this is release day. This is what you do. You edit it, you publish it, you do the social media. So, yeah, showing the examples of all of that, I think, I don't know. It's kind of a weird question that I think leading by example, I think, has kind of been one of my focuses. And both kids do take, I've been told, they do take great pride in saying, I'm Big Rab's son, or I'm Big Rab's
Well, they
daughter,
should. They should, yeah.
which is really weird for me. I don't like saying that, but they do genuinely go out and tell their mates, oh, my dad's Big Rab. And they go, oh, right. Who's Big Rab? And then they show the Instagram or the YouTube or whatever, go, oh, that guy talks about the pipe, and that's your dad. Right. Yeah. So it's weird. Yeah.
That's pretty cool though, Rab. I'm happy for you. Like, and I don't think that comes across as big-headed in any way or anything like that. Like,
it feels like it.
It's
though.
not like it's not like you're telling your kids, "Hey, tell everybody I'm your dad." You know, it's it's happening naturally. You should go ahead and go ahead and glow a little bit from there, Rab. That's great. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
There's my son actually a few weeks back. There was guys in his class that are involved in pipe bands, and I was always nervous about this, thinking, they're going to put 2 and 2 together. They're going to know the surname here. Yeah. And then, sure enough, that's what happened. He came back and he said, hey, Dad, my mate insert name here says he listens to
Right.
your show. I said, does
No,
he?
that's awesome.
He said, you should give him a shout out next week. So, okay, I will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent.
It's weird though. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But
Well,
yeah, kids love it.
no, go ahead,
all the
Reb.
same. Yeah, kids
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. You're busy, and it seems like, I mean, this is me on the outside looking in, so tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel
Hmm.
like maybe the last year in particular, maybe a couple years leading up to them, but the last year in particular, I feel like you guys have been everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe extra
2025.
busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2025 was huge, honestly. With the 2 Pipe and Live shows, that was a huge moment. We didn't know if we could pull it off, but thankfully we did. We survived it. We got through it. But the amount of events that we went to last year was just crazy, and we realized that we needed a larger team to handle it all. So we have pulled in some extras. Thankfully, there's been other people who've thrown their hat in the ring and say, "Hi, I can help," you know. Because I have been talking about it on the show. I said, look, there are events that we're going to miss because we
Yeah.
simply can't attend them all.
Yeah.
And if you are willing to help, then give us a shout. And I give them
Yeah.
an email address and whatnot. And then thankfully people did say, hey, Rob, I'm going and I've got my phone in my pocket. I can go and capture some stuff for you. So brilliant. And the team is kind of growing organically that way. But yeah, 2025 has been a huge year. And then, of course, we followed it up at the end of the year with the second nomination for the Trad Awards that we got, which was
Oh my gosh,
insane.
Rab, I bet I didn't realize that. How did I miss
Oh,
that?
yeah.
That's awesome. Way to go.
We got nominated again, which was, I know I said it already, it's insane. I
Yeah,
still
that's very
can't,
cool.
I still can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
Getting nominated the first time was like lightning striking, you know,
Yeah.
like, oh my word, we got nominated for the Trads.
Yeah.
To give across the gravity of the Trad Awards, they're like the Oscars of the traditional music scene here,
Yeah.
you know, really glitzy affair. And then for it to happen again, unbelievable. Now, granted, we didn't win. Like, we were up against some huge production companies, you know, the likes
Yeah.
of the proper BBC and other
But the
big...
fact that you were in the running with them, that's pretty wild,
Yeah,
man. That's pretty
that was
cool.
class. Like,
Yeah.
I unfortunately couldn't attend, but I sent Stuart across, a Scottish guy, and he attended the event. And he said that he very much felt like a fish out of water. You know, where all
Oh,
these
sure.
industry types were all sitting around
Yeah.
with their, you know, tuxedos on, and there was Stuart sitting there in the band uniform,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and he
That's
was
good, though.
maybe...
That's like good branding. I'm glad he did that. That's a good way
Yeah.
to show up. Yeah.
No, of course. I said, Stuart, you're going there to represent the piping people, you know,
Yeah.
and if we do happen to even get in with a sniff, you know,
That's what
you
you
want
want
to
to be
be
wearing on stage. Yeah.
Exactly. You want to be
Yeah.
representing your people, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what happened. Stuart went and he attended the awards, and we didn't win, but he spent the entire event explaining to people who he was there with, you know,
Oh,
who he was
yeah.
representing. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm here for the big Rab show. And they're like, the what? Who's that?
Yeah.
What? And then people started Googling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. 2025 is a huge year, and to follow up with the second nomination for the
Yeah.
Trads was just, I don't know, the cherry on the cake.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think we'll ever win, you know.
Sure, okay, but maybe you will. But also, like, well, these nominations are pretty dang cool. What if you just get nominated every year for a decade, you know?
Well, that's twice now, you know, and I
Yeah.
genuinely didn't think it would ever happen again, because it is such a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
So if it does ever happen again, we get nominated a third time, I'm gonna think, right, come on, there's
Yeah.
something not right here. Why are we getting nominated for this? So I don't know what the future holds, man, but I am hopeful that there will be an occasion where we can represent the piping world at the Trads
Yeah.
and actually scoop an award. That
That
would
would be pretty
be...
cool.
Wouldn't it though? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like having
Yeah.
our bagpiping scene represented in such a way, with all of these industry leaders who know very little about the competitive band scene. That
Yeah.
has to be said, you know. So to have a podcast on there that talks about it every week and hopefully lift a wee prize at the end of it, that'd
Yeah.
be insanely good.
Yeah.
You know, well, obviously it'd be great to have, you know, for us from the Rab Show team and recognize all the work that we do. But I'm honestly thinking of it that we're kind of representing the scene in a way.
Yeah. No, that
But
comes
no,
across.
you know
That
what I
makes
mean?
a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
Well,
how we
if
look
you
at it.
if you could choose to have 2026 and 2027 and 2028, etc., be
Hmm.
just as busy and full as 2025, would you choose that, or would it be kind of nice to have a year quiet down before
Man.
you got busy again?
I say it every year to the team. I said, we need to plan better. We
Mm.
need to look ahead at the season and then actually make a plan. So we attempt to make a plan. All
Yeah.
right. I'll give them full credit. We do try.
Yeah.
But as always, curveballs happen. Life
Sure. Yeah.
happens. You get sickness, or you have to work, or there's something happen, or that you just can't attend an event, and the goalposts move. So 9 times out of 10, we arrange things on the fly, and we do our best. And yeah, sometimes it can be a bit of a bitter pill. If we're seeing a lot of hate mail coming in, and people giving off and saying, "Oh, you
I'm
didn't
sure that
film
gets
this
hard.
band in
Yeah.
this grade." And
Yeah.
we tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's
I
one of the
I
most difficult things, is that we're competitors
I
too.
remember some listener mail in the past
Mm.
where maybe it was a weekly drone. I don't remember now.
Mhm.
But I feel like it's been more than once that somebody complained that your show was too long.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's been a
It's
thing.
just I just can't help
100%.
thinking to myself, like, what in the world? Why would you complain about having more?
I
Like,
know.
pause it, come back later, don't listen, skip an episode. Why complain
Crazy.
about that?
Yeah,
But
that episode in particular that they're talking about was the Kids with Cancer charity night.
yeah,
Um,
that's right. That
that
made it
was
even
it.
worse because I'm like, we're talking about kids with cancer, and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is going on for way too long. Like, what in the world?
That was a pretty long podcast, I'm gonna say that. It
Uh,
was over 2 hours long, which is a long
yeah,
one. I do get it. But we wanted to capture all of it, you know?
yeah.
And there was so much magic that night that we thought, our audience would like to hear it too. But there was those
Yeah.
out there go, "Not too long, not listening to that. Nope, way too
Yeah.
long." Click.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That we do get some seriously
Yeah.
entertaining emails sometimes, and a
Well,
lot of them
I hope
haven't seen the light of day.
I hope, and I'd imagine that you guys are good at keeping it in perspective. That, like, of course, you've got something like, say you have 100% of your audience on a pie chart. It's going to be like 1% that
Yeah.
ever contacts you at all anyway. And of those, maybe 3/4 of that 1% is going to be negative. And so it's like, nah, if the vast majority of people enjoy what you're doing and understand that you can't cover every single band in the world,
No, that's it. Yeah, it's physically impossible. You couldn't do it.
So far. I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of people volunteering, you already talked about how all you need is a phone and a Glengarry to hang on it. I'll put
There
a
you
link
go.
to your
Yeah.
to your website in the show notes if anybody needs help finding it. If you're going to games and want to volunteer to help Rab, get in touch.
There you are. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all it takes. But yeah, some of the listener mail that we get, I do appreciate it. That we do get a lot of negative stuff sometimes, and sometimes it's the negative stuff is the loudest voice in your head, though.
Sure, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh,
Like we
yeah.
would get a lot of really nice stuff saying, "Oh, thanks for live streaming this weekend. I couldn't make it, etc." Brilliant. Though that's the reason we do what we do. But then there's always that like 1%, as you mentioned, they go, "Oh, you didn't film my nephew's band, and I missed the performance, and that's all your fault," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really? But that's the one that sticks with you. It's a weird
Yep.
thing now.
Yeah.
It's the negative stuff that sticks, and it's
Yeah.
difficult not to let it get to you. But I think we've done a decent enough job to kind of try and ignore it in a way. We do try and fix things and have less negative stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it happens.
Take advice where it can be useful for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's good to have an humble attitude, but
Yeah.
I
Oh, but
think we're all
that's it.
glad you're doing what you're doing.
No, thanks. We absolutely love criticism, though. If it's something constructive and then we can do something about, brilliant.
Yeah.
Let me know. But if there's something that you want more of, less of, absolutely. But just emailing us in to slag us off. I think what often happens is the emails come through to me on a Sunday morning,
Yeah.
because on the Saturday after a competition,
Yeah.
when somebody's perhaps had a few libations,
That
and
makes sense. Yeah.
they become brave on a keyboard, and then they
Yeah.
wing off the email to Big Rab and give him what for, and then they get the regret. Then on the Sunday, I get the follow up email going, "Please ignore my email I sent to you at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning." Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That reminds me actually, Rab, speaking of people talking about what they like or don't like about
Mm.
your show. Let's say it was an anonymous person
Yes.
asked me when I mentioned to some folks that you were going to be coming back on the show. They
Mhm.
asked me, we probably ought to ask you to talk about how the weekly drone is obviously the best part of the show.
It
And
is.
maybe you could go on and on about that a little bit. I'm not gonna say this person was JD themselves,
No,
but
no, of course.
somebody asked me that,
Uh, the voice of Weekly Drone. Do you know, he's an absolute legend. I love JD to
He
bits.
yeah,
He's done such a good job with that.
he's a great guy, yeah.
Yeah, but see the amount of stuff that he gets sometimes. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, like we could be flat out with Weekly Drones, and JD gets completely overwhelmed, and he's like, "Do you want me to record all of these? There's like 20 or 30 of them." I'm
Yeah.
like, please.
Yeah.
So fair play to him. He's a
Yeah.
trooper. He goes through each one and reads it all out.
He's
And
about got out of it could be a podcast all on its own some of the
it could
weeks, yeah.
be, yeah. We obviously have to employ some sort of editorial in there.
Mhm.
If we can identify who it is,
Yeah.
or if we can pick out that they're directly slagging someone off,
Yeah, you wanna be
that's
careful
where we
there.
draw the line.
Yeah.
There has been some that have been very close to the knuckle where they're actually calling people out. They would
Yeah.
mention a name and say it's this person's fault for ABC reason. We're like, nah, we're not getting into that.
Yeah.
But JD has absolutely made that spot his own. He is the voice of Weekly Drone for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, love having him on the show. Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Rab, what I don't know, I don't wanna,
Hmm.
cut us short or anything like that. If you got other stuff on your mind, I wanna hear about it, but I'm also curious kinda like,
Yeah.
maybe in kind of a putting a bow on it kinda way, what are you most looking forward to right now?
Most looking forward to the start of the season, to be honest. The point of me,
The official
excuse me,
start, we might say. I mean, you've kinda started, but
I've already kind of started. I
yeah,
haven't actually hit the grass yet for
you've
any
warmed up to
outdoor
it, we might say.
competitions at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah, so looking forward to that. Getting out onto the grass, competing again, that'll be fun. And then the first major, obviously, then we are 100% looking forward to piping live and the worlds and all of that good stuff. Just letting the season unfold. So yeah, one of the big highlights for us this year, of course, would be episode 500. That's going
Yeah,
to be
big
a
deal.
massive milestone. If you told me we would have done 500 episodes of this madness, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're still here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just got a lot of things happening this year, and I don't know. I'm hopeful, that the season will go just as well as 2025. We just don't know. Yeah.
Well, again, as a fan, as a listener, I think I have no reason to think it won't go as well and
Hope
better.
so. Hope so. Yeah.
It does feel like, and I don't mean to say this as if I have any right to judge or anything like that, Rab. But I mean, I do feel like the show's only ever got better, and it started out really fun and
Yeah.
great, and it's
Hope
only
so.
ever
Yeah.
gone up. It's a good trajectory. So
That's it. Well, if anything, I'm glad it's just not getting worse.
yeah, there you go. It's at
Do you
least
know what I
not
mean?
getting worse.
Yeah, 100%. But I was going to say to you, man, like I am still really loving these long form conversations.
Oh, you're very kind.
You mentioned about Camille's episode. I was just listening to that actually.
How are
and
you?
How you guys are
Yeah.
big fans of Bluey
Yeah. Well, who
Yeah.
isn't, right?
and all of that. So no, I keep them coming, man. I people always asking me about does pipe band podcasts get introduced over time, and they're like, oh, Rab, is this competition or that? Oh, it's going
Oh,
to be a
sure, yeah.
rivalry there. No,
There's
people
not
don't
enough of us
understand
yet,
it.
right?
I was like, no, there's no rivalry here. We're all talking about this music that we love, and the more
Mm.
people talking, the better. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah.
So I don't get it where people think that there's a limited space
I'm with you,
for
man. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
conversation on piping. I don't get it. I need
And
that
maybe
you're-
that's easy for me to say as a newcomer. Of course, you've been doing it much longer than me, so maybe I shouldn't say, yeah, there's plenty of room for all of us.
Well,
Like
there
maybe I
is.
shouldn't be so headstrong as to say that, but
No.
it's not like other topics out there where there's like hundreds of podcasts in place already and stuff like that.
That's
I do
it.
feel like we haven't filled up the bandwidth yet. Like everybody
No.
who wants to try it ought to.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So there has been those that's reached out to us at Rabjo and asked, how do I start a podcast? So I
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, this is what you do, and here's
Mhm.
how you make a show, blah blah. So I've tried to help a few folks get off the ground and whatnot. One of my claim to fame actually is I helped Gary West with his show.
Oh,
Enjoy
yeah.
Your Piping.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, so we kind of helped Gary get off the ground, I guess, really.
Yeah.
Getting a sponsor lined up and getting it online, how to publish an
Yeah.
episode and all that stuff. Gary was, well, he still is for me the voice of piping. I
I'd love to
admire
imagine
him.
that you even said, "Here's the first thing you do, Gary. You got to find a bothy." once you've found a bothy, then you'll be able to sit down and
Yeah,
record.
love that. But just his voice for me,
Yeah.
that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So anything I could have done to help him, and the show has been great guns. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been really, really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, every success to him, and everyone else that we've helped as well. That maybe lasted an episode or two, and then realized there's more work that's worth
Mm.
perhaps, and they jack it in. But yeah, all the more podcasts. So Jim, keep up the good work, man. Oh, and
Thanks,
hey,
man.
shout out to your work in the dojo as well.
Oh, thanks,
Some of those
man.
conversations are amazing. Yeah,
That's nice of you. That's really all. That's really, it's Andrew's thing. I'm just happy to be there, of course. But
there you
thanks. It's
go.
nice of you.
But it's like some of the conversations have actually helped me with my playing as
Oh,
well.
good.
Like you were talking a lot there recently about practice with metronomes and stuff. I think I
Oh,
caught it
yeah.
on TikTok, if anything.
Yeah.
And I was I'm going to try that. So I actually
Yeah.
got an earpiece and stuff, like a Bluetooth thing in my head and all like that, the metronome going in my ears and playing.
Right. Yeah.
And it really helped. So
Oh,
there's a lot of
perfect.
stuff that you and Andrew go through, and it's really helpful, man. So yeah,
Oh,
keep it
that's
going.
great. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, man. Well,
So
perfect. Well, I think, Rab, if you're feeling good about it, I think we've got an episode here.
sure thing.
Of
Yeah.
course, if there is anything else you'd like to plug or chat about, we can do so, and I can just edit it in.
There you go. Well, I think the big plug then will be episode 500, the celebration that we have at Pipe and Live. Go grab tickets for it. We're there
We'll
on the
definitely be looking
Thursday.
forward to that. That's
Man,
going
it's
to
going to
be
be something else.
July? When is
No,
that
Pipe
coming up?
and Live in August. Yeah.
August. That's right. Not July.
hmm It's
Okay.
the Thursday
Perfect.
of Worlds Week. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just before the Friday, day one of Worlds. So we're going to be there thumping out tunes at the National Piping Centre. This time we're going to be on the main stage,
Oh, are
which
you?
is
That's exciting.
proper scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're one of the
No
main
longer a
attractions in the
sideshow.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Ooh, no pressure. But
Well, not that you need promo from this little show or anything like that, but this will come out well ahead of that. So I'll make sure that is also in the
excellent.
show notes that's something to be looked forward to, and everybody should tune in and attend if
Thank
they're
you.
going to be there. A lot of folks will be there, of course. So
Oh, I
I'm
hope
trying to get in.
so. Yeah. If anything, I haven't announced this anywhere yet, so this will be an exclusive for you.
Nice, an exclusive. All right.
There you go. We're actually going to have like a proper meet and greet kind of thing after the show. We have like a proper area within the Tryst bar at the Piping Centre where they're kind of cordoning off for Rab show for everyone just to
awesome.
hang out. So that was we've done events at Piping Live now for the last few years, and we found that after the show we could be there standing talking to everyone for hours afterwards.
Yeah.
So this time around we kind of wanted to have like a bit of a proper place where we could gather up, because what we found is that everyone came to the show and then I get pulled in different directions and people
Yeah.
wanting photos, and I know that kind of sounds very big-headed of me, but the crowd can be a bit overwhelming at that point, and then I kind of get scurried away into a back room to give me a bit of a break. So
Yeah,
this time
yeah.
round, they decided, right, we're going to actually do it properly. If people want to chat to the team and talk to us on Rab Show, we're going to have a proper place where people can go find us, which is the most important thing, because that's what happened over the previous years. People were running around like crazy trying to is Rab here? Where, is the team here? I want to chat to
Yeah.
them, all that. So
Mhm.
we're going to have a proper place for it. So a
Yeah.
proper meet and greet, all the team, come and hang out with us on the Thursday evening after the show.